Ilkin, I guess, what are you gonna do tomorrow? What are you gonna be up to tomorrow?
Uh, it's Sunday.
Hmm.
I will I will go to the shopping. I want to buy a shoe for me because my shoes uh, is already uh, how can I say is already
Too small,
old.
or
Yes, it's all. My shoe is already former. It's old, and I have to change it.
okay,
Uh,
so you're gonna get new shoes?
Sorry?
So you're gonna get new shoes?
Yes, yes. I would like to buy a new shoe.
Okay, cool. That'll be fun. I actually am thinking about getting new shoes shortly, because my shoes are very old. Uh, nice. So maybe we'll go tomorrow.
Okay.
Accompany you in spirit. Um, okay, and Fa, welcome to class. How's it going?
Hi, Joshua. It's going very well. How about you?
Doing really well, thank you. And Fa, I do not believe I've had you in class. First of all, how do you pronounce your name?
It's Efe.
Fa. Okay,
Yeah,
cool. Where are you from?
I'm from Turkey.
Cool. And I guess what do you like to do for fun? What do you do in your free time?
In my free times, I'm mostly gonna meet my friends, close friends, and we are hanging out in the cafes or bars or something like that. And in when I'm available, I can go play sports with my friends also, like soccer, and
Nice.
sometimes I go to the gym for cardio exercise. That's all about it.
That's about it, we would say. So that's about it instead of that's all about it.
Yeah.
Um, okay, nice. That's great. Hanging out in cafes, playing soccer. I really like to play soccer as well. Um, also, Julieta, welcome to class. How's it going?
Hi, teacher. I'm fine, thank you.
Okay. Nice. Good to hear. And how was your day? How's your weekend been?
I slept until noon, more or less, and then
Wow.
I went to this. Yeah, because I was so tired, so I couldn't
Okay.
wake up. Yeah,
And then you
and
went where?
I went to the city, and then I came back.
Okay. Yeah, I wish I slept until noon. I woke up early and then I like went climbing, but it was just terrible because I was exhausted and it just didn't work. Um, yeah,
Mm.
but cool. It sounds like a good weekend so far. Um, and I think that is everybody. Um, I'm with today's story. Uh, I've got it in. Nah, I guess we'll just do it in the here. Okay, so we can actually make it out. Can you guys see that, or is it too small?
Tingnan po sa atin.
It's fine for me.
It's
Okay,
fine.
let's make it a little bit bigger. And so we'll make corrections in the Verbling chat box. So if you're looking for pronunciation issues, let's look to the Verbling chat box. And let's start with Anna Carolina. Can you read the title until it right here?
The Falling Girl by Gino Buzzati. Martha was 19. She looked out over the roof of the skyscraper and seeing the city below shining in the dusk, she was overcome with dizziness. The skyscraper was silver, supreme, and fortunate in that most beautiful and pure evening, as here and there the wind stirred a few fine filaments of cloud against an absolutely incredible blue background. It was in fact the hour when the city is seized by inspiration, and whoever is not blinded is swept away by it.
Okay. Let's look at seized.
Okay. Seized.
Okay. Yeah, seized.
Seized.
Nice job with filaments. Okay. So, questions in this first part. Does anybody have any questions? Anybody? A
Uh,
few? Yeah, go ahead. What's your question, Ilkin?
Filaments. If you find filaments of cloud, what
Does
is
Like,
it?
anybody?
yes. Sorry, sorry.
Go
Like
ahead.
lines.
Yeah. Strings, filaments, like lines. Yeah, so strings of clouds. Make sense, Ilkin?
Okay. Streams. Okay, streams of clouds.
Yeah,
Moving
like
on.
little thin strips of clouds. Um, and so yeah, just talking about girl on top of a skyscraper. Efe, can you
Yeah,
read until lights? Actually,
yeah, sure.
yeah.
From that airy height, the girl saw the streets and masses of buildings written in the long spasm of sunset, and at the point where the white of the houses ended, the blue of the sea began. Seen from above, the sea looked as if it were rising, and since the veils of the night were advancing from the east, the city became a sweet abyss burning with pulsating lights.
Okay. A sweet abyss.
Yeah, sweet abyss.
Yeah. Okay. And so yeah, Anna Catalina swept away is like blown away. So like in this case, we're talking about like is swept away emotionally. So it's like really emotionally moved. Does that make sense, Anna Carolina?
Yes, it does. Joshua, could we use the Google chat box instead?
Yeah, we can use the Google Chat box instead. So if you guys look here, that's where we're going to be. Okay, and other questions?
What is sweet abyss?
Yeah, it's like an abyss is like almost a hole, um, and sweet is just like a really nice emptiness. So yeah, an abyss would be a large emptiness,
Okay.
almost like a cave. Um, yeah,
I
any
do
other
understand it.
questions? This first paragraph is a bit tough. I guess it's kind of placing it so we're on a skyscraper. It's really pretty. It's about to be night, so the veil is something that covers something. It makes it dark. So the veils of night are advancing from the east. It's just getting darker. And the city is kind of like an emptiness, but it's like a nice emptiness that's got lots of lights. Yeah, and so she's looking at the city from the top of a skyscraper is pretty much all we've got here so far. Efe, can you read the next part?
Sure. Within it were powerful men and women who were even more powerful, force and violence, cars glossy as onyx, the neon signs of nightclubs, the entrance halls of darkened mansions, fountains, diamonds, old silent gardens, parties, desires, affairs, and above all, that consuming sorcery of the evening which provokes dreams of greatness and glory.
Okay, really nicely done.
Thank
Maybe violins, furs and violins,
Violence,
darkened,
darkened,
and an evening.
evening, evening,
Yeah, so you ignore that second E. It's like evening.
evening.
Yeah, perfect. And writhing. It's like moving. It's hard to. Kind of like a snake will writhe in the sand. Something that is like injured is also like this like idea of like moving in like a really uncomfortable way. No worries, Ilkin. Thank you for coming in. So yeah, something that's writhing would be like moving kind of like a snake or like something that is dying and is really uncomfortable. Hopefully that makes sense. Questions here, guys?
What is the meaning of onyx? The glossy as onyx it says.
It's a really black, something that is really black.
Okay.
So if you look at, it's the opposite of ivory, pretty much. Like if you think of, this would be like onyx. Just like a really black rock gem.
Okay.
Yeah. Hopefully that makes sense. Any other questions? Okay. And Julieta, can you read the next bit?
Until we're sorry.
Read until the girl was falling, I guess. Let's like make it a little bit longer. Let's read until conversation.
Holly let herself go.
Oh,
Can
sorry.
you hear me?
You were breaking up for a little bit. Start again.
Saying these things, Marta hopelessly leaned out over the railing and let herself go. She felt as if she were hovering in the air, but she was falling. Given the extraordinary height of the skyscraper, the streets and squares down at the bottom were very far away. Who knows how long it would take her to get there? Yet the girl was falling.
And
Now?
one more sentence.
At the hour, the terraces and the balconies of the top floors were filled with rich and elegant people who were having cocktails and making silly conversation.
Nicely done. Questions here.
Suicide?
Yeah. It's
Okay.
gonna change a little bit. But yeah. So she's kind of depressed by the like beauty and richness of this city. And so she jumps off of the top of the skyscraper. Ruva, can you read until clothing here?
There were skeleton crowds, and their talk muffled the music. Marta passed before them, and several people looked out to watch her. Flights of that kind, mostly by girls in fact, were not rare in the skyscraper, and they constituted an interesting diversion for the tenants. This was also the reason why the price of those apartments was very high. So it was. The sun had not yet completely set, and it did its best to eliminate Marta's simple clothing.
Nice. Okay. Good.
So it was like an amusement for them, was it?
Yeah, it seems to be the case. They seem to be amused by girls jumping off of the building. Questions here? Okay. And yeah, Della, welcome to class. I did not see you come in. How's it going?
Hello, I'm fine, thanks.
Okay, nice. And yeah, what was it? Luva, can you repeat it was Julieta, I think, hovering. Can you repeat hovering?
Me?
I think it was Julieta, hovering.
Hovering.
Good, perfect. Really well done. And whoosh. Let's have Adela, can you read until her?
She wore a modest, inexpensive spring dress bought off the rack, yet the lyrical light of the sunset exalted it somewhat, making it chic. From the millionaire's balcony, gallant hands were stretched out toward her, offering flowers and cocktails. Miss, would you like a drink? Gentle Fadir, gentle fat butterfly, why not stop a minute with us? I- is that for that? Or
Keep reading a little bit more.
she loved hovering happy, but meanwhile she was falling. No thanks, friend. I can't. I'm a hurry. Where are you headed? They asked her.
Good. Asked.
Asked her.
Perfect. Let's look at lyrical.
Lyrical.
Gallant.
Mm,
Gallant.
gallant,
And stretched.
stretched,
And butterfly.
butterfly.
Good. And I think we already went over laughed. One more time, laughed.
Laughed.
Okay. Well done. Questions here. Gallant. Somebody who's gallant is like
Very
not,
kind, no? Very,
yeah, like a gentleman, I guess you could say,
yes,
is
for
often
the
described
girls.
as, yeah. So very nice, kind, noble, I guess, chivalrous. Any other questions? Okay. And let's have Anna Carolina. Can you read until course?
To where?
Until the blue part.
From. Oh, don't make me say, Martha answered, waving her hands in a friendly goodbye. A young man, tall, dark, very distinguished, extended an arm to snatch her. She liked him, and yet Martha quickly defended herself. How dare you, sir? And she had time to give him a little tap on the nose. The beautiful people then were interested in her, and that filled her with satisfaction. She felt fascinating, stylish. On the flower-filled terraces, amidst the bustle of waiters in white and the bursts of exotic songs, there was talk for a few minutes, perhaps less, of the young women who was passing by, from top to bottom, on a vertical course,
Nice. Extended.
extended
Nice. And terraces.
terraces.
Nice. Really well done. Questions here, guys? Any questions? Okay. And Efe, can you read until 19 years old?
Yeah, sure. Some thought her pretty, others thought her so-so. Everyone found her interesting. You have your entire life before you, they told her. Why are you in such a hurry? You still have time to rush around and busy yourself. Stop with us for a while, for a little while. It's only a modest little party among friends, really. You'll have a good time. She made an attempt to answer, but the force of gravity had already quickly carried her to the floor below, then 2, 3, 4 floors below. In fact, exactly as you gaily rush around when you are just 19 years old.
Nice. Really good job. Yeah, that sounded great.
Thank you.
Questions here. Gaily rush around. Does anybody know what that means? Okay. So gay in this sense is happy, so happily rush around. Okay. And Julieta. Do. Can you read until by?
Of course, the distance that separated her from the bottom, that is, from street level, was immense. It is true that she began falling just a little while ago, but the streets always seemed very far away. In the meantime, however, the sun had plunged into the sea. One could see it disappear, transformed into a shimmering reddish mushroom. As a result, it no longer emitted its vivifying rays to light up the girl's dress and make her a seductive comet. Wow. It was a good thing that the windows and terraces of the skyscraper were almost all illuminated, and the bright reflections completely gilded hair gilded hair as she gradually passed by.
Yeah. Gilded. One more time.
Gilded.
So if you are gilding something, you're covering it in gold. It was really common, like 200 years ago. People would gild everything, just like to make it look like it was solid gold. They just like put a little thin cover of gold over it. It's gilding. And vivifying.
Vivifying.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And plunged.
Plunged.
Good. Questions here.
What is the meaning of shimmering, reddish, shimmering?
Okay. Who knows the verb to shimmer?
Bright, to be bright.
Glow.
Okay, it's more brightness. So when you have something that is shimmering, it is so bright that the light almost looks like it's moving. So something that shimmers, it kind of like it's got like this idea of bright movement. Like if you have something that like water shimmers when it's hit by light. So it looks like it's like kind of dancing. It's a dancing type of light. Does that make sense?
As a flames, for example. No.
Kind of like flames.
Or like a lightsaber in Star Wars.
Yeah, I guess like a lightsaber in Star Wars. Flames would be more like flickering. We would say with flames. Shimmering is more of like a reflective light. So especially with water, we use something that shimmers. Something like jewels kind of shimmer. It's like a kind of a moving reflection. It doesn't stay still. But I don't really know how to explain it more than that. Does that make sense? Yeah. So
Can a dress shimmer?
Yeah, dresses would shimmer. Dresses would definitely shimmer. So like reflection is like a shimmer. Like we've got these like sparkles kind of shimmering. This is a good example of a shimmering light. Hopefully that makes sense.
It's more than shine, no?
Yeah, it's like a moving shining, like a moving shininess, if that makes sense. Any other questions?
One question also. Vivifying. What is the meaning of vivifying?
Vivifying is like to make lively, to like make alive.
Okay.
Yeah, so the sun is vivifying her. It's like making her seem more alive, if that makes sense. Any other questions? Okay. And that was Luba, right? You just read? Or was
No,
that
I haven't.
Okay, so Luba, could you read until words?
Now Malta no longer saw just groups of carefree people inside the apartments. At times there were even some businesses where the employees in black or blue aprons were sitting at desks in long rows. Several of them were young people as or older than she, and weary of the day by now. Every once in a while they raised their eyes from their duties and from typewriters. In this way they too saw her, and a few ran to the windows. "Where are you going? Why so fast? Who are you?" they shouted to her. One could not
Mm-hmm.
divine, something akin to envy in their words.
Something akin.
Something akin to envy in their words. I don't get that sentence. Divine, it's like like a god, like
No, divine in this sense is more like guess at, or if you're like divining something, you're figuring it out. So
trying to find out. Yeah.
yeah, like to figure out. So you're like putting it together in your head. So you could say like, I bet you can't divine my secret. Like I bet you can't figure out or understand my secret. So that would be divine. Something akin to envy. Something like envy.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions here? Okay. Adela, can you read until flying?
Okay, they're waiting for me down there, she answered. I can't stop, forgive me. And again she laughed, wavering on her held-down fall, but it wasn't like her previous laughter anymore. The night had craftily fallen and Martha started to feel cold. Meanwhile, looking downward, she saw a bright halo of lights and the entrance of a building. Her long black car were stopping. From the great distance they looked as small as ants, and men and women were getting out, anxious to go inside. She seemed to make out the sparkling of jewels, and that swarm above the entrance flags were flying.
Okay. Let's look at laughed.
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 Yes.
Headlong. Her headlong fall.
Headlong.
Headlong fall.
Headlong fall.
Laughter.
Laughter.
Halo.
Halo.
Cars.
Cars.
Anxious.
Anxious.
Yeah, anxious. And then men and women. Men and women.
Yes, men and women. And
yeah, women. Men and women.
Men and women.
Good. Okay. Any questions here? It's like crafty is like this idea of like tricky and deceitful, kind of like smart but also sneaky. If something is crafty, it's like we would say a fox is a crafty animal. They're like smart but they're tricky and they're yeah. Does that make sense, Julieta? Okay. Any other questions?
Can we use crafty with a businessman?
Yes, businessmen can definitely be crafty.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. And Ana Carolina. Can you read until her?
They were obviously giving a large party, exactly the kind Martha dreamed of ever since she was a child. Heaven help her if she missed it. Down there, opportunity was waiting for her. Fate, romance, the true inauguration of her life. Would she arrive in time? She spitefully notes that another girl was falling about 30 meters above her. She was decidedly prettier than Martha, and she wore a rather classy evening gown, gown, I guess. For some unknown reason, she came down much faster than Martha, so that in a few moments she passed by her and disappeared below, even though Martha was calling her
Yeah.
inauguration.
Inauguration. It's like a year. Inauguration.
Inauguration. Inauguration.
Nice. Nicely done. Spitefully.
Spitefully.
Hmm. And disappeared.
Disappeared.
Yeah, appeared. Boop. Well done. Questions here, guys. Anybody have any questions?
Spitefully.
It's like you're bitter. You're You're kind of like angry. But you're angry almost with yourself for not being good at enough or for not being as good. So you're like angry at the other person, but you're also angry at yourself. Is kind of like spite. Yeah. So does that make sense?
Um, I think so. Can I say like something like I am spitefully frustrated or something like that?
Yeah, you could be spitefully frustrated. Like generally what we use it for is like he did it out of spite. So like the thing would harm him, but it would harm the other person too. And because he was like angry at himself and the other person, it's like you kind of do it out of spite,
Could I
just
say something?
to be mean.
Could I say something like she spitefully broke up the relationship?
Yeah, yeah, you can break up a relationship out of spite for sure. Um, any other questions? Okay, and F is gone. Julieta, can you read until shoulders?
Without doubt, she would get to the party before Martha. Perhaps she had a plan all worked out to supplant her. Then she realized that they weren't alone. Along the sides of the skyscraper, many other young women were plunging downward, their faces taut with the excitement of the flight, their hands cheerfully waving as if to say, "Look at us! Here we are! Entertain us! Is not the world ours?" And then, sorry,
Just
until,
the next, yeah, until shoulders, bare
okay.
shoulders.
It was a contest then, and she only had a shabby little dress, while those other girls were dressed smartly, like high-fashion models, and some even wrapped luxurious mink stoles tightly around their bare shoulders.
Okay. Luxurious.
Luxurious.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. Really well done. Questions here.
I don't remember the word. Tat, something like that.
Taut. It's like really tight, almost like pulled without like wrinkles. Yeah, tight is. We talk about kind of drums, like if the drum skin is taut.
Okay.
It's like really tight. Somebody's face can be taut. Yeah. Any other questions?
Oh,
Yeah.
so they were falling down, and so the skin was taut.
Yeah. So
Okay.
they're falling down. They're excited. Their skin is tight, like kind of
Okay.
pulled back. Other questions?
Yeah. She had a plan all worked out to supplant her. What is supplant?
Supplant is like to take the place of. So if you have like a coup d'etat, it's to supplant the government. You want to go under it and like get it out. Yeah. To take the place of. Any other questions?
Is it like substitute?
Yeah, kind of like substitute. It's not a very nice way of substituting.
So
Yeah.
it has a negative connotation, right here.
It's like this idea of like sneakily substituting.
Oh, okay, I see. Thank you.
Can be take another identity, no?
Not take another identity. It's like to take the place of. So
The place to
replace. To replace in a way that the person you're replacing does not have a choice. So you supplant them, you kick them out. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. And F is gone again. Do. And let's have Luva. Can you read until stopped?
So self-assured when she began to leap, Marta now felt a tremor growing inside her. Perhaps it was just the cold, but it may have been fear too, the fear of having made an error without remedy. It seemed to be late at night now. The windows were darkened one after another. The echoes of music became more rare. The offices were empty. Young men no longer leaned out from the window sills, extending their hands. What time was it? At the entrance to the building down below, which in the meantime had grown larger, and one could now distinguish all the architectural details, the lights were still burning, but the bustle of cars had stopped.
Nice. Let's look at details.
Details.
And bustle.
Bustle. That's the word I don't know.
Like bustle is movement. It's like a lot of movement. So it's not just a little bit of movement, it's almost excessive movement. Like so ants, I guess you could say, bustle about.
Okay, so I'm not going to buy that house because of the bustle of the cars I can hear from it.
Yeah, definitely you could say that. Yeah, you can hear all the bustle. The hustle and bustle is a really common phrase. Hustle and bustle. It's like the hustle and bustle of the holiday season. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay. And Adela, can you read until room?
Okay, every now and then, in fact, small groups of people came out of the main floor, wearily drawing away. Then the lights of the entrance were also turned off. Marta felt her heart tightening. Alas, she wouldn't reach the ball in time. Glancing upwards, she saw the pinnacle of the skyscraper in all its cruel power. It was almost completely dark. On the top floors, a few windows here and there were still lit, and above the top the first glimmer of dawn was spreading. In a dining recess on the 8th floor, a man about 40 years old was having his morning coffee and reading his new paper, while his wife tidied up the room.
Nice. Okay. Let's look at, I think, turned,
Turn,
turned,
turn,
turned.
turned,
Good. Turned.
turned,
Good. Tightening,
tightening,
pinnacle,
pinnacle,
in spreading.
spreading.
Nice. Okay. Really well done. Any questions here? Okay. Okay, and let's have Anna Carolina. Can you just read the end?
A clock on the sideboard indicated 8:45. A shadow suddenly passed before the window. "Alberto!" the wife shouted. "Did you see that?" A woman passed by. "Who was it?" he said without raising his eyes from the newspaper. "An old woman," the wife answered. "A decrepit old woman. She looked frightened." "It is always like that," the man muttered. "It is low floors, only falling old women pass by. You can see beautiful girls from the 100th floor up. Those apartments don't cost so much for nothing. At least down here there is the advantage," observed the wife, "that you can hear the foot I don't know, when they touch the ground." "This time not even that," he said, shaking his head after he stood listening for a few minutes. Then he had another sip of coffee.
Nice. Okay. Can you repeat thud? The thud.
The thud. What does thud mean?
Thud is like that sound.
Okay.
It's a thud. Any other questions?
What is the meaning of decrepit old woman?
Decrepit is like really old, almost falling apart. It's so old. So we have like decrepit houses, decrepit old people who are just like, yeah, falling apart.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay. Efe, you kind of missed parts of the story. Did you kind of get what was happening, Efe?
Yeah, I get it mostly.
Okay. What do you think about the story? Like, is it trying to say something? What's going on?
Well, I think it's a emotional thing rather than physical thing. We read about the woman falling down from a skyscraper, but the reading passage actually refers her spiritual mood, I guess. It's kind of a mental situation, right? It's happening a mental situation right now in that passage.
Okay. So it could be talking about like a mental situation. Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely not hyper realistic. Yeah. Juliet, did you have any input?
No, not. I don't have any input for that reading.
Okay, Juliet, what about you?
It seems like she she's falling down because she cannot achieve the glories or something.
She's falling down. Why? I guess what's she falling towards? What's she trying to reach?
Mm.
Um,
It's kind of like she would like to have the glory, but
mhm.
she cannot achieve it, and so she's falling down.
Yeah, so,
Is it that?
at the beginning, what was her falling like? Like, was the falling the idea of like not realizing it, or what did it seem more like she was realizing it by falling?
Say it again, please.
Okay, so
Can you repeat?
yeah,
I can't hear you. So
oh, can you hear me now? Anybody?
yes,
Okay, so was it like when she started falling, did she think that it was like a failure, like, or was it something like moving towards success?
mm.
Maybe Luva, what do you think?
I think that all these girls were like moths to the
She was
flame.
hopeless.
Am
So
I may I
she
Okay.
say?
was hopeless.
Not quite hopeless, I don't
Who is
think.
speaking?
It was
Me?
Julieta. I think she's got a little bit of a connection
Okay.
trouble.
Yeah, I
Um,
have really a problem.
no worries. Luva, so moth to a flame. I like that idea. What is the flame?
The flame is being able to wear shimmering dresses, to be the part of that society, and I think that that was their dream because they never had it in the real life,
Hmm.
and it is like chasing a dream. And somewhere in the text it was said that it was her real inauguration, like her real being herself as she saw her.
Yeah, nice. Okay, so chasing the dream. Yeah, and so this idea of falling is chasing a dream to fit into the society of riches and
Yes, and
kind of stardom.
yes, and people who were not from that society, they were trying to conceal the envy in their voices because they didn't dare to chase their dream.
Okay,
Like,
that's an interesting way of looking at it. Um, okay. Yeah, so maybe these people at the end are envious. Um,
no, not that people from society, the people who was, who were, who was like her. There
okay,
was
the
a
people
sentence.
who, yeah, the people working, the people
Yeah,
who were her age and
yes.
working. Yeah, they were kind of envious of her jump. Okay, yeah, so,
And all this falling is like her whole life.
mhm.
So from the time she was young and had that dream till she's an old lady still chasing that dream.
Yeah, yeah, that's really good. Okay, I think, yeah, that was a good interpretation. Adela, what do you think? Do you agree with that interpretation? Do you disagree? What do you think?
I think they revised about the different society is falling. She's falling, no? But in each floor or um, mm, they are different people. I think more or less is a is Marta has a teenager, no, because it's 19, and I think it's not your life, is the life in general, the society, the kind of people, more or less.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
don't know exactly because it's a little complicated, but
It's complicated.
complicated, yes. But I think they revise the life in general, the society, the types.
They
Mm,
revise.
re- or review, or I don't know. They
Like
think
criticize?
about.
Um,
Sorry?
criticize or like they're talking about.
Maybe. Okay.
Um, okay. Yeah. So yeah, it's being critical of life. The idea of yeah. Okay. Anybody else? Does anybody else have any other thoughts? Anna Carolina, are you gonna stick around for a minute or two, or are you gonna go?
I think the time is over. I don't know about this story. My comprehension skill is awful. I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. Okay, so yeah, I guess you could talk about like this idea of being a star and entertaining and the entertainment business and the fact that the richer people get to see the entertainers at the beginning, but they use them quickly, and these people are falling, and this idea of falling, yeah, it's kind of a metaphor for this girl's life of trying to fit into society that maybe she doesn't fit into. Um, yeah, kind of like a tragic figure of entertainment in the entertainment business and the industry of like using people. Um, at least probably what I would say. So that's like her fall. Anyways, we are just out of time. I do have to go. I've got another little class after this. Thank you guys for coming in. Really good to see you all. Hopefully you enjoyed the story. And have a really good day.
Thank